What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Ricky Lee, aka the Hoochie Pappy Goddess, aka what? The Black Asian. You know, you can say Hoochie Poppy or Hoochie Pappy, it don't even matter. But I want to thank you for clicking on this video to listen to my story time. This story time is about when I was a mistress. So let's get straight into it. I'm not too sure what year this was, maybe 2016, 2017, 2000. I can't remember. All I know is I was working as an exotic dancer at this club called Secret Sundays. Very known club in LA. It was one of the very first urban strip clubs in LA. Basically, they brought that southern strip club culture to LA. So I was working there, and this particular weekend, I can't remember if it was Memorial Day or if it was Labor Day, but they was doing money wars. So basically, money wars is like when two or more guys start getting hella money and they just start throwing it. So it'd be like table one throwing hella money, and then the MC be like, what's table two gonna do? And they just started throwing hella money. And maybe it might be a table three and they just start throwing hella money. They competing to see who gonna throw the most money. So this particular weekend, it was two of the owners of the club, two of the partners, and they were doing money wars. So me and my girls, we run. It was four of us. So two of us was at one table and two of us was at table number two. I went to owner number two's table, and I just so happened to see this man, like, I mean, dark skin, just, his skin, I don't know if it was the way the lights was hitting him, but his skin, like, I got a thing for chocolate. Okay, I like chocolate. Now, don't get me wrong, I love us all, but it's something about chocolate skin and the way it glistens. And this man was chocolatey, and the way the lights was hitting him, the way that skin was just shining, and then not to mention the diamonds, not to mention the diamonds, not to mention the diamonds. I mean, wrist was icy, ears was icy, skin was glistening, pinky ring icy, just chains icy. I'm like, whew. Going cross-eyed in this thing. Then he looked at me and he smiled. Teeth was perfect. And anybody who knows me knows that I'm a sucker for some nice, pretty teeth. So I see this man and I'm like, oh, he looked like money. He looked like money. So I'm so thirsty. I didn't want to walk all the way around at this table, so I crawled into the couch because I'm thinking to myself, like, owner number two ain't gonna care. Like, he's not gonna care. Like, to be honest with you, at this club, I was a nice girl. I ran with the bully squad, but everybody knew if we had new girls, send them over to Geisha. That was my name. Send them over to Geisha, or it's Geisha. She ain't gonna. I was a nice girl. Just, I was one of the nice girls. Anyway, so I'm like crawling on the couch, crawling over the couch, and he's like, who is this? Oh, it's Geisha. And he just so happened to, like, I don't know, he looked back to the dude that I had seen, and he said something, and, like, dude just smiled. And we gonna call him Ghost. We gonna call the dude, the black dude, that a chocolatey dude, we gonna call him Ghost. So I'm like, hi, my name is Geisha. And he's like, you ain't gotta introduce yourself. I know who you are. I've been watching you. And I'm like, If y'all hear some weird noises in the back, that's my cat doing cat things. But I'm like, what? Still with a smile on my face. He like, yeah, I know who you are. You know, owner number 2 been telling me about you. He makes sure he keep tabs on you for me. And I'm like, okay, where the money at? So, you know, he takes some money and he like doing this, drizzling the money, and he takes some more money. He do about 5-6 times. And if you know, one stack is 100. So I'm like, okay, that's like a good 500, 600 right there. So then when your money pile gets a little bit, you know, big, women who don't have strip club etiquette tend to walk on your money just to talk to the dude. And that's very disrespectful. And one particular girl did that, and I was like, hold on, wait till I pick up my money. I couldn't find none of my homegirls, so I was just like, I'll start picking it up. He was like, don't do that, don't pick it up, just leave it there. And I'm like, but she's stepping on it. So I kind of like box her out. I was like, okay, bye. You can come over here when my money is picked up. So she was like, no, bye, thanks, let's be nice. So he's just all up on, you know, he talking to me, he's smiling, and he's like this with me. And I'm like, ooh, you got a strong arm. Like, if this man don't get off me, and he just like, do. Next thing you know, I see this girl that I know. I have ended up working with her at a different club, and we just so happen to work at this club at the same time. And we still cool. I love her. I'm not gonna use her stage name. I'm gonna just make up a name for her, and we're gonna call her Slim. Slim comes over, and I see it in her eyes that she knew this man. Let me tell you something. I am an observer. I'm into body language. I'm into all of that. So I definitely can read the room. So she comes over, and before she even says anything to him, she was like, I'm not trying to step on your toes. You know, I know him. I just want to say hi and all that. So once I'm like, oh, okay, you know, like, that's what you're supposed to do. State why you here, and then we move along. Okay. So I'm like, if he liking her, if he know her and he liking her and everything, I could just pick up this money and go ahead and start dancing with this girl so we can make more money. So my homegirl just so happened to come at the right time, and she was like, you want me to pick this up? I'm like, please, because we gonna make some money together real quick. So she picks up the money, she walk off, and then he was like, oh, you ain't have to pick up that money. I was like, I didn't. My homegirl did, because me and Slim gonna make money. And he was like, oh, I see what you're doing. I'm like, yeah. So we put on a cute little show for him or whatever. You know, a lot of booty shaking, splits, little mwah-mwahs, you know, little fake mwah-mwahs. Because, you know, you can't do too much in LA. You can't do too much. So, we make our money, and the night goes on, and it's the end of the club now. Like, it's done. Everybody's gone. And it's always a handful of girls that stay maybe an hour or two after work, because we got to count all this money. And Slim comes up to me so we can split our bag. And she was just like, girl, you need to fuck with him. I don't know if I can say that, but you need to deal with him. Like, if he pursuing you, get that, because when I tell you, he's just like Ghost off of Power. I swear to you, like he be one place one moment, or you see him one place and next moment on his social media he's somewhere else. Like, he be on a movie, make money, da da da. And I'm like, oh, okay. She was like, we fuck with each other the long way and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. And one thing about me, if you really know me, I don't judge people off their past or who they dealt with. And she felt comfortable telling me this because, you know, it's me, Ricky. So I'm like, all right. And you talking about ghosts off of power? She's like, yes, like money, money. And I'm just like, but is he a good person? She's like, yes, girl, he's a good person. He gonna take care of you. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Like, you take care of him, he take care of you, you know, fly you out, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It ain't like I ain't never been through that before, but okay, whatever. So she talking good shit about him and everything. And I noticed that he's still in the club. And usually when men are still at the club after hours, then that means that they're super close to either the DJ, the partners slash owners. Like, you gotta be cool with one of the men in the club. So he talking to his bro, the owner number 2. And owner number 2 came up to me and was like, yeah, you need to fuck with that. Like, you single, right? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, yeah, that's my bro. He'll take care of you. It's like, don't worry, like, he got you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, why is everybody putting in a good word for this man? So I go up to him, because I'm pretty aggressive. I'm a aggressive little lady. So I go up to him and I was like, so you already knew who I was and everything. He was like, yeah, I bet I had my eye on you. Bro, been keeping tabs on you and everything. Like, I knew when you was in a relationship and everything. And I'm just like, what? And he was like, don't nobody know your relationship status right now. So, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay. Yeah, that kind of crazy. So I was like, so what you doing tomorrow? And he was like, oh, I fly out in the morning. And I'm like, where you going to? He was like, I'm going to Miami. I'm thinking to myself, like, ooh, Miami. Ooh. He was like, you want to fly out with me? And I'm like, I don't know you. And he was like, okay, well, I can fly you to Miami and we can get to know each other. And I was like, nah, because I had an audition the next day anyway. I was like, nah, let's just swap info and I just, holler at you later. I need to go home. I got shit to do tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. So we text and everything. And the next thing you know, he was like, well, I'm about to go to Orlando. I texted him the next day. I'm like, I hope you have a safe flight to Miami. And, let me know when you make it there. I might have you, fly me out if you stay there long enough. He was like, oh, I'm still in LA. I was like, so what happened to Miami? He was like, well, I'm gonna just go to Miami a little bit later. I'm always in Miami. I got a house in Orlando and stuff like that. I gotta handle some business. Plus, these fools that's supposed to go to Miami with me, not even up. They all drunk and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we text back and forth. And then a couple of days later, he was like, hey, I want to fly you to Orlando. And I'm like, all right, what's up? Like, he was like, just give me your name and all that info. Yeah, I know. So I bitch got flew out to Florida, and we did the whole Orlando, we did the whole Miami, all that stuff. It was nice. But the thing is, he was like, you could just come chill at my house. Now, usually I'd be like, let's go to a hotel or something like that. But everybody got so much so everybody had positive things to say. So Slim ain't gonna lie to me. Like, me and Slim, like, we like here when it comes to dudes. So she ain't gonna lie to me. So I'm like, so where we gonna stay at? He was like, I got a whole house. So he invited, so I ended up going to the house. He picks me up from the airport, go to the house, and it was a really nice house. Like, I've been to tons of houses, but I'm like, why do you live here by yourself? Like, I'm asking questions like, you live here by yourself? He was like, yeah, like, my boys, sometimes they be out here, and sometimes my baby mama come out here, but, This is my side of the house. So he had a whole side to his home. Just him. And then the other side was for the kids. And you know, down in Florida, like, their houses be big and nice, and they don't be too expensive like LA, but they be expensive, but they be super nice. So I'm nosy. So I'm getting comfortable in a crib or whatever, and I noticed that where his closet is, I noticed a closet right across from it. So I open it up and I see women's clothing. And I'm just like, okay, but it wasn't a lot. It was like 3 dresses, a pair of shoes, and like 2 things of earrings. It wasn't a lot. So I'm saying to myself, that must be baby mama stuff right there. So we hang out, and I just started from that moment on. And you know, he took me out on the town and everything. We had fun, and from that moment, from that Orlando trip, that moment, we started dating. So no, we was not in a relationship. We just started dating. And 3 months later, we're having a conversation. 3 months later, he surprises me and comes to LA. And at this point, it's 3 months, it's 90 days. And he, you know, we go out and he's telling people, yeah, this my girl, this my, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, he calling me his girl. Okay, we had that conversation, but okay, cool. I ain't dealing with nobody right now, so okay. You know, he's taking care of my bills and everything. All I had to do was make money, and that was it. It was like a Thursday night where he flew in, and he was gonna fly out the next day. I think it was a Friday that he was gonna fly out, and we stopped at this hookah spot. It was a really nice hookah spot, and he loves hookah, y'all. So we smoking hookah, and I start asking questions because this is the time, an intimate moment for us to have conversation. And I'm the type of person who asks questions. I am open to have uncomfortable conversations with my partners. So at this point in time, I'm like, yeah, you often talk about your children and your baby mama, but why do you call her your baby mama? Like, why don't you call her the mother of your children? Because, not gonna lie, that kind of bothers me. And he's like, she's my baby mama. That's just what she is. And I'm like, yeah, but when you talk to me about her, can you just say the mother of your children? And he was like, nah, I'm calling her my BM. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So he's like, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you the real deal about my baby mama. He going into details and all this stuff, and next thing you know, he was like, yeah, my wife. And I was like, wife? He's like, yeah, that's my wife. We separated, but that's my wife. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so huh? I said, we've been dealing with each other for over 90 days, and you just telling me that you're married? He was like, I been told you about my baby mama. And I was like, you never referred to her as your wife. Wife and baby mama is 2 different things. And he goes, wife, baby mama, at this point in time, they the same thing. So he ends up telling me the story of their marriage. Basically, she got pregnant, they got married, he gave her the wedding that she wanted, and after the wedding, she was never a wife. And I get that, because there's a lot of people who say they get married to have a wedding, and that's what she did. And he said, I'm not gonna knock her. She's a very great mother, but wife, nah. And he said that she cheated on him first. But later on, I found out, whatever. She basically cheated on him, hurt his feelings. From that moment on, they basically had an open relationship, an open marriage where he do his thing and she be the wife. So I was like, well, I need to think about this because we've been dealing with each other for over 3 months, for 3 months or a little bit over 3 months, and you just not letting me know that that your baby mother is your wife. And he's like, I'm telling you now, and it's not that big of a deal because it's like we ain't got that type of relationship like that. Talking about him and her. And I was really taken back. My feelings was kind of hurt because I'm like, dang, you married? And you ain't say nothing? Like, what? If I was your wife, I'd kick your ass. Anyway, I felt like, I don't know if I want to be in this because I had never dealt with a married man. And it was like I had been dealing with this married man and didn't even know he was married. Then I've been to the crib and he explained everything to me. He was like, I live here and she lives in a whole different city. Her and the kids live in a whole different city. So I'm like, and she's okay with this? He's like, she ain't got no choice. Like she made it this way. We can't live together. Like I can't live with other people. Like I need to live alone, and I like being here and she like being there with the kids, and I built their house and I got my house and da da da, and I'm just like, oh, so it's like she's okay with you dating other girls. He was like, she can't control it, but it is what it is. Like she knows I date other people, so it's like that's it. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, so when she finds out about me, what's gonna happen? He was like, she already know about you. She already know about you. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, she already know about you. She know that I'm dating a girl from LA and she call you my LA girl. And I'm like, okay, so what about the other cities you be going to? Because what about home? Since your home is in Florida, what about the Florida girl? You got a Florida girl who's like, I won't deal with nobody in the city that I live in. And I'm like, okay, but you go to other cities because you got businesses in other cities. He was like, I got a little thing in this city. I got a little thing here, which was me. And then I got my baby mama in the other city. And I'm just like, so that's 3 women. He was like, no, 2. And he's like, I'm not sexually active with my BM. I'm only, so it's really just one, it's really just you. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I know I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night, and I ain't no fool. He just don't know what type of parents raised me, okay? He just don't know. So anywho, I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna still deal with you because baby, my rent was getting paid and everything. Fast forward. I'm still feeling some type of way about basically I felt like I was the side chick. So I was just like, one day we was on a road trip. We was on our way to Atlanta from I can't remember where. Maybe Charlotte, because that drive is not that bad. So I'm like, so what am I to you? Like, what are we? And he's just like, what you mean? And I was like, am I your girl? He was like, I said, because you done told people that I was your girl, but I want to hear you tell me that I'm your girl. He was like, what you mean? And I'm like, you know what? We're not even gonna have this conversation because if I was your girl, you wouldn't even hesitate. He was like, everybody know that you my girl. I said, I want to hear you say it. He was like, yes, you mine and I'm yours. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Da, da, da. Hey, Pooh. So all I know is I have posted a photo of me that went viral. And I got an email, and the email said, you shame for frolicking in that man's house, knowing that he got kids and a wife. And I sent him the email, and he's like, I don't know who that could be, da da da. And he said that he asked his wife, like, did you send this to her? And she was like, why would I send that to her? Like, I already know that she be in the house. So I'm like, yo, this woman really knows about me. And I just be like literally traveling with this man. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so he's really sitting up here taking care of me and her. And I'm thinking about like the money that I'm receiving from this man, and shit, the money that she receiving from him. And but we would never just like be around each other. I have never met her like face to face. I've seen her, but I have never just been like, hi, I'm such and such. You know, you just keep all that separate. Oh, y'all. I didn't realize that I was in I didn't realize that I was just really in this situation until one day I was just getting so tired of this man. Like I'm not even gonna front y'all. This man, whenever you deal with somebody who's very charismatic, just know they are some master manipulators. Most narcissists, and he's definitely one of them, he was just so charismatic and charming and all this stuff. But like I said, I'm very observant, and certain things just started adding up, and certain things just wasn't adding up. And I was getting tired of him. I was getting so tired of him. And y'all, this relationship went on for like three and a half years. And I started noticing like my money wasn't coming in for some of my bills. Like, you want to come parlay in my crib, so you need to pay this rent. You want to take up my time, you know? And he was that type of person where it was like, time is money. He understood. So, you know, he would just send me money. Or if he stayed the night or the weekend, leave money. You know, that was the thing. But I started to notice, like, boo-boo, our agreement, where is the money? So, so all I know was like, he left here one night, and I just was not picking up phone calls. I wasn't receiving texts. And then he was like, what, where you been, stranger? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, stranger? Excuse me? Is the bank dry? Like, I'm not your wife. So you need to stick with this agreement. And you doing a lot of weird shit. So you already know them Benjamins make up for all the weird shit that you do. I start catching him in lies. And the first red flag should have been when he told me his BM was his wife. But at the time I was just like, well, she know about me, so whatever. But that was the thing, like, that was part of the manipulation. Like, he would give me like little gems here and there, and then later on, like 2 weeks to a month later, stuff would happen, and I'd be like, hold up. Like, he would go on these trips, and then he'll bring a woman with him, a girl around my age, you know. They was always young. They was always in their 20s. And I just know one night, this girl like was really trying to start an argument with him. And this is after work or whatever. And he told me that they was just friends. But the way she started this argument and arguing with him, I was like, are y'all? And he was like, I mean, we did it before, you know. We done did it a couple of times, but she definitely don't understand her position in this. This is a business, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, we're not even gonna get into like that business aspect, but she was definitely a runner for him. And I was just like, okay, that ain't, and I'm one of those people, like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I play my part and that's it. So whatever they had going on, they had going on. But as far as me and him, he checked her on what she, I don't even know what she did to me, but he checked her. I wasn't mad. I don't even know what she did, but he checked her, kicked her out the place, and he was like, you know, she just mad because she wants your position and da 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 da. And I was like, what is my position? He was like, you know, you my girl, you my woman, da 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 da. And I was like, so he was like, you neck to neck with the BM. And I'm like, huh? He goes, actually, this the BM. And I'm like, I was like, okay. Like, I know that ain't true. Until you put me in a house, baby, I know that ain't true. So, all I know, like, after a while, I just stopped. Because I just started it was a lot of stuff that was going on. I just gave you an example with that girl. And I just stopped. I was not caught. I've never been the type of girl to call anybody. If you miss me, you call me. Like, I'm not the type that wants to be a headache. So I'm not gonna call you and constantly text you. You hit me, you hear from me when you hit me. So I'm not picking up the phone. I'm just out doing my thing. I'm working, like, chill. And I guess he started getting on his wife's nerves. And I get this random ass text message like, why you not picking up the phone for Ghost? And I'm like, what? I said, huh? Why you not showing Ghost any attention? I'm like, who is this? She's like, what's going on? Because I'm tired of him being in my face. And I'm like, what? I was like, well, my rent not being paid. And she was like, how much is your rent? Next thing you know, I get a Cash App. And I'm like, from her Cash App, her face, her name, everything. And I'm like, oh, I know for a fact I ain't no side chick. like I was like, oh, the wife is paying me to keep this man entertained and out of her face. Like, let me tell you. So, to this day, I can scroll down and see the Cash Apps. Like, why you not paying him no mind? Get him on my face. Like, these two individuals hate each other. They grew not to love each other, but they grew to hate each other. And that's my story on how I was a mistress. 3.5 years dealing with a narcissist. Oh my God. And it's so funny because I caught it, but I kept dealing with it because it was the money aspect. He took care of me financially, and I got to do like trips and stuff like that without me paying for it, you know? I had somebody spending on me. Because I've been living life. I've been living my life, you know. If y'all been following me and seen, you know, my coming out story, like, I've been being an adult since 16. So it felt good to have somebody for up to 3 years to cater to me, like, literally cater to me in the financial aspect, and going on trips and all that stuff, and learning things money wise, business wise. Like, he taught me a lot, but also dealing with the manipulation, the lies, all that extraness. Like, he'd tell you the truth, but he'd tell you the truth to a point. And if you don't tell the whole truth, baby, that's a lie. He was definitely a liar. And I still, Like, I don't deal with him, but he definitely still communicates with me now. But that's my story on being a mistress. And it's not something that I regret. It's not something that I'm proud of either. I'm a little proud of it. I had the wife and the husband taking care of me. Okay. If you like this story, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna do more story times. And yeah, I'll holler at y'all later.